The wolf in sheep's clothing, the mask of fragility. Unlike the classic image of the arrogant, loud, and exhibitionist narcissist, who constantly boasts of greatness to command attention, the vulnerable narcissist, also known as covert or introverted, employs a much more sophisticated camouflage, apparent humility. They don't enter a room demanding the throne. Instead, they sit in the corner with a melancholy gaze, waiting for you to notice their aura of being wronged. While the grandiose narcissist says, "I am the best," the vulnerable one whispers, "I am the most misunderstood." Their introverted and modest image makes them far more difficult to identify. This is seduction through pity, where they share traumas, flaws, and a sad life story early on to create an artificial bond of intimacy and disarm your criticisms. One of the pillars of this approach is the persona of the misunderstood victim. They offload onto you dense stories about unstable ex-partners, a cruel family, or friends who betrayed them deeply. The goal is a direct appeal to your empathy. They want you to assume the role of the rescuer and feel an almost biological urgency to protect and help them. You feel special because, supposedly, you are the only person capable of seeing the pure soul behind so much suffering. What you may not realize is that they are giving you, in advance, the script of how they will describe you to the next person once you are no longer useful. Alongside this, the false altruist emerges. They present themselves as a helpful supporter, someone who listens to your problems with excessive attention and offers to handle difficult tasks for you. However, this is often temporary, as they will soon spend most of the time offloading their own grievances. As experts, like Stephanie Sarkis warn, this help is not a gesture of love, but a tactical investment. Every favor generates an invisible emotional debt that will be collected with heavy interest in the future, especially when they need to silence your concerns. Furthermore, they are highly sensitive to criticism. Even if they don't have the explosive reactions of a grandiose narcissist, the covert narcissist will become moody, withdrawn, or defensive, taking everything personally. Secretly, they fantasize about being recognized and admired, while internally struggling with deep feelings of inadequacy, differing from grandiose types who overestimate their qualities. To seal the trap, they utilize subtle love bombing. Do not expect grand heroic gestures, but rather the creation of a soulmate through mirroring. They study your life and mimic your tastes and values, creating a sense of destiny. They will claim, with unpretentious and false humility, that they have never felt this way before, and that you are the only person who truly understands them. This low profile causes you to lower your guard, firmly believing that someone so gentle and shy would be incapable of causing harm. It is in this state of empathetic blindness that you hand over the keys to your psyche to someone who will eventually use your own compassion as a tool for psychological pressure. The psychology of shame, the hidden engine of hostility. To truly understand the mind of a vulnerable narcissist, we must dive into what Joseph Burgo defines as shame-based narcissism. While the grandiose narcissist wears an armor of unshakable self-confidence, the vulnerable type lives in a state of latent humiliation. At the very core of their being, they don't actually feel superior. They feel deeply defective and inadequate. However, they lack the emotional tools to process this pain. Instead of healing, they develop a defense system where shame is an existential threat that must be transferred to someone else at all times. The dynamic is somber. Since they cannot bear their own sense of failure, they need you to be the one who fails. They don't attack you to feel like a king, but rather to avoid feeling empty. When they criticize you, ignore you, or diminish your achievements, they are actually trying to rid themselves of the unbearable feeling that they have no value. It is a transfer of emotional toxins. If they can make you feel small, insecure, or wrong, they feel slightly less insignificant by comparison. You become the reservoir for all the shame they lack the courage to face. Practical examples of shame-based psychology: envy disguised as disdain. Imagine you've received a promotion or public praise. A healthy partner would celebrate with you. The vulnerable narcissist, however, feels a sting of shame for not being the center of attention. Instead of congratulating you, they wither your joy with phrases like, "Good for you. I wish I had your luck," having things just fall into your lap without effort. "While I work myself to death and no one notices." By labeling your merit as luck, they protect their ego from the pain of their own perceived lack of success. Disproportionate defensive reaction. If you point out a simple mistake like forgetting to pick up something they promise, they don't apologize. They collapse or enter a defensive rage. They might say, "I know, I'm a disaster. You must love rubbing it in my face. You feel so perfect and superior, don't you?" Here, they use their own shame as a gaslighting weapon. They accuse you of feeling superior just so you feel guilty and stop holding them accountable. Control through vulnerability. They use their own weaknesses to dominate the narrative. If you are happy and excited, they suddenly recall a trauma or physical insecurity. "You look so beautiful today. It doesn't even look like you were crying about your weight yesterday." They bring up your shame so that you don't have to deal with theirs, ensuring you never feel fully secure or better than them. At this stage, you stop being a partner and become the mirror in which they try to wash away their own stains. The tyranny of fragility and sabotaged by omission. In vulnerable narcissism, control is not exercised through shouts, but through sighs. Here, gaslighting takes on a cloak of victimhood that Stephanie Circus describes as one of the most effective forms of silencing. The manipulator uses their own pain, whether physical, emotional, or existential, to invalidate your reality. The goal is to transform any attempt of yours to resolve a conflict into an act of cruelty. This is the tyranny of the victim. They dominate you by demanding that you be the strength they refuse to have, all while silently sabotaging any move you make toward independence. Gaslighting here happens through omission. They withdraw affection, support, and presence exactly when you need them most, later swearing they simply didn't notice or were too overwhelmed with their own issues. It is the art of making you feel completely alone in a crowd. If you discover a lie and decide to confront them, the reaction is not an explanation, but a collapse. They might suddenly struggle to breathe or begin to weep, saying, "How can you attack me like this? My health is hanging by a thread, and you come with these demands. Do you want to see me in the hospital?" The focus shifts from their mistake to your lack of compassion. You end the conversation apologizing for being right, just so you don't worsen their state. Practical examples of silent sabotage: selective and punitive forgetting. You ask for something important multiple times, and they promise to do it. When the time comes, they fail. If you complain, they weaponize fragility. "My head is so full, I'm under so much pressure. You have no patience for my limitations." They transform their neglect into your lack of empathy. The sabotage of milestones. On the day of an important interview, they suddenly wake up with a vague health crisis. They don't forbid you from going. but they hijack your emotional energy. You leave the house feeling guilty, and your mind remains trapped in worry for them. Punitive withdrawal. If you shine in a social setting, they become mute on the way home. If you ask what's wrong, they say, "Nothing. It's just my way. I'm not outgoing like you." This silence is emotional gaslighting. It makes you feel that your joy is too much, and that you are oppressing them with your personality. Triangulation through pity and the flying monkeys. In vulnerable narcissism, triangulation isn't used to make you compete with someone else for beauty or status. It's used to make you compete for your own sanity and reputation. The manipulator recruits third parties, the so-called flying monkeys, as a support court for his suffering victim image. According to Stephanie Sarkis, this is a phase of isolation through silent defamation. He doesn't speak ill of you with aggression. He speaks as someone who cares deeply about you, your health, and your well-being. The misunderstood victim mechanism. He approaches mutual friends, or even your own family, and says, "I don't know what to do anymore. My wife is so tired, stressed, and unstable. I try to help, but she explodes over anything. I'm afraid of what stress is doing to her, because she is such a good person. But she's turning into a well of anger and nervousness over the smallest things." The gaslighting here is twofold. He convinces others that you are unwell or stressed, and he convinces you that everyone is worried about your behavior. When you meet these people, they look at you with pity or judgment, and you don't understand why. Invading the support network, he creates deep bonds with your mother or best friend, acting as the perfect son-in-law or the dedicated friend who endures everything in silence. If you try to leave or complain, these people turn against you. "How can you leave such a good man? He cries for you. You are the one who is being too difficult." He steals your right to be heard. Using witnesses of suffering. During an argument, he might call someone or text in the middle of the fight, saying, "She's having another crisis. Please pray for us." He creates a historical record of being the martyr, while you, exhausted by his manipulation, appear to be the sole cause of the disorder. Comparison to a past partner. He frequently brings up a past partner, or a female figure from his past, who supposedly destroyed him. The gaslighting is, "I've already suffered so much from cruel people. Please don't do this to me too." You begin to police yourself so as not to appear like this villain, accepting abuse just to prove you are different. The ultimate goal of triangulation through pity is to ensure you have nowhere to run. If the whole world believes in his goodness and fragility, any complaint you make will seem like a delusion or an act of malice. This is because he always shows himself as being so concerned about you and the relationship. He asks for prayers, he claims he wants peace, and he takes care of the house while you go out to work, making sure everyone knows how much he helps you. By constantly venting to your family and friends, he isolates you within a bubble of false collective compassion. Strategic sabotage of joy. Another tactic is feeling unwell, exactly on days when you have a special event, an important business meeting, or when you are happy about meeting friends. On these days, he will have false anxiety attacks, vague health problems, or migraines. He won't want to hear about how your event went, or see you smiling. Little by little, your moments of joy turn into worry for him. You become more and more emotionally exhausted because those moments of rest, leisure, and happiness, which should help you relax and feel loved by others, are exactly what he wants to prevent. Performative empathy and the cult of public image. One of the most disconcerting traits of the vulnerable narcissist is the profound discrepancy between who they are behind closed doors and the image they project to the world. Joseph Burgo describes this type as someone who cultivates false modesty to mask a deep sense of moral superiority. They don't seek to be seen as the wealthiest or the most attractive, but rather as the kindest, the most ethical, and the most altruistic. This is performative empathy. They are capable of weeping over a social cause on television or helping a stranger on the street with touching dedication, while completely ignoring your tears in the room next door. The gaslighting here is social and devastating, because they invest so much energy into building this mask of a sensitive and spiritualized person. When you try to speak out about the emotional distress you suffer, no one believes you. They use this public image as a weapon of isolation against you. If you complain about them to a mutual friend, the typical response is, "What? But he's so sweet, so calm. You must be exaggerating. He would never do that." They make you question your own sanity by creating a world where only you know their dark side. Practical examples. The stage activist. They may be highly active in charitable causes, church, or support groups, receiving constant praise for their greatness of soul. However, at home, they use this status to diminish you. "I help so many people, and all you do is complain about life. You are spiritually small." Humility that humiliates. They constantly speak about how they don't care for material goods or status, acting with practiced shyness. But if you buy something for yourself or receive a raise, they make you feel shallow and greedy for valuing things that don't matter. Kindness as currency. They are excessively kind to waiters, neighbors, and strangers in your presence, so that when they turn cold toward you 5 minutes later, the shock makes you think, "The problem must be me. Look how good he is to everyone else." The charity that excludes you. Imagine they decide to help a neighbor renovate a garden or spend the weekend organizing a charity event. They do this with a smile, never complaining of fatigue to anyone. However, if that same week you ask for help with a simple household task, or if you are sick and need medicine, they let out a sigh of deep exhaustion and say, "I already give so much of myself to others. I come home and just want peace. You are too demanding. Can't you see I'm drained?" They use their external goodness as a credit they spend while being negligent toward you. The counselor for everyone else. This is a classic. They are the person all friends seek out for relationship advice because they seem so evolved and patient. They listen to others' problems with deep empathy. But when it's your turn to talk about something that hurt you in your relationship, they change completely. They become cold, call you difficult, and claim you don't have the level of understanding that other people have. They use the validation they receive from friends as proof that the problem is your personality, not their lack of empathy. This mask serves to ensure they always have a steady supply of external admiration, leaving you trapped in the role of the ungrateful victim of a man whom everyone else considers a saint. The prison of compassion. Why is it so hard to leave? The greatest obstacle for those living with a vulnerable narcissist is not the fear of aggression, but paralysis through pity. In this final stage of our video, we must face a painful truth. It is useless to give up on yourself just to keep this relationship standing. The vulnerable narcissist utilizes what psychology calls coercion through fragility, while in other forms of abuse the victim wants to flee from a monster. Here she feels as though she is abandoning a wounded child. It is a moral trap where your good heart is used as the key that locks your own cell. It is crucial to understand that, contrary to what he says, you are not his safe haven. You are the fuel for his stagnation. Joseph Burgo warns that the vulnerable narcissist does not want to be healed. He wants to be spared. He wants you to accept his negligence, lies, and coldness as symptoms of a past trauma that you are supposedly obligated to carry. If you stay out of pity, you validate the idea that his suffering gives him the right to destroy you. While you waste your energy trying to fix him, you undergo an erosion of identity. You stop being a woman with dreams and needs and become the emotional support for a bottomless pit. Practical examples of captivity through pity. The veiled threat of self-destruction. When you finally find the strength to leave, he doesn't threaten you with anger. He threatens you with his own collapse. He says, "I won't make it without you. You're the only good thing I have left. If you leave, I don't know what will happen to me." This is emotional hijacking. He places his life in your hands so that you feel that if you leave, you will be guilty of any tragedy. The inversion of care. You are exhausted, perhaps sick, or going through a period of grief. Instead of caring for you, he suddenly becomes worse than you. He demands that you, even at your limit, stop everything to tend to him. If you don't, he uses the gaslighting of rejection. "I knew that when I needed you most, you'd show you don't really love me." Empathy, vampirism. He tells you the same trauma for the 1,000th time to justify why he can't work, why he can't be affectionate, or why he forgot something important. He uses the past as a shield against the present. You stop demanding change because you feel it would be cruel to hold someone who has suffered so much accountable. Liberation from this cycle begins when you realize that your compassion is not helping him get better. It is only helping him continue to abuse you without consequences. Giving up on yourself for a vulnerable narcissist is not an act of love. It is a pact of self-destruction. Saving yourself is not malice. It is the only act of sanity left. When you finally recognize that his fragility is a cage and your pity is the bars, something shifts inside you. Confusion gives way to a cold, necessary clarity. But take heed, with a vulnerable narcissist, your exit must not be an emotional spectacle. If you announce you are leaving because you figured out who he is, you will provide him with the perfect script for the greatest victim performance of his life. He will use your intent to leave to intensify threats of collapse and recruit all the flying monkeys against you. Your strength, now, lies in your silence. The first practical step is what we call emotional disengagement. You stop trying to explain him, stop trying to heal him, and, most importantly, stop defending yourself. If he accuses you of being selfish or heartless, you simply agree or give short answers, such as, "I'm sorry you feel that way." This is the gray rock method. You become so uninteresting and unresponsive that he can no longer get the supply of guilt he once took from you. You reclaim your energy by saving your words. The action plan for freedom. Invisible fortification. Start building your support network in secret. Look for people who haven't been manipulated by him or a specialized professional. Don't try to convince those who have already bought his saintly image. It will only drain you. Organize your finances, documents, and logistics discreetly. The reality log. Since his gaslighting attacked your memory, start a secret journal out of his reach, perhaps digital and password protected. Record facts, not emotions. Today he said X, and then denied it. Reading the cold, hard truth will stop you from falling for hoovering the attempt to suck you back in when he starts crying and promising change. The strategic exit. Leaving a relationship with a vulnerable narcissist is a withdrawal, not a battle. Often it is best to leave when he is not around, or in a direct way without lengthy explanations. Remember, you do not owe him a closure conversation that he will only use to manipulate you for a few more hours.